Started, if that's okay. Good evening and welcome to the first of a new series of Makers Guild events. Please do the Twitter stuff, and that's my email at bottom, fiddian@makersguild.org. I'm Fiddian, I'm founder of Makers Guild, and Makers Guild is a members organisation for makers of all flavours, and particularly to kind of bring together crafters, more traditional makers, with digital fabrication, look at the junction between the two, the overlap between the two, and then find ways to support that kind of activity. So we've got a nice lineup this evening. We've got Daniel from Fixperts, we've got Jim from WeFarm, a late entrant, which is very exciting, also working with Daniel on Fixperts. Then we'll have a quick break because one of the things a lot of you said on the meetup site about what you wanted from this was networking, meeting people, so I think it'll be good to have a quick break then. 10-minute chats, loser in the back. Then we've got Paul from Printcraft and Hannah from Remakery. And I think what we'll do, if it's okay with everybody, is run through the short presentations and then have general chat and discussion. And then break for networking in the room and go to the pub, which is just along the road here, scaffolding outside. It's called the Queen's Head. And it's got a big sign outside which says the best pub in London, so it's obviously not one to be missed. Brian, did you want to say, this is, I'm very grateful to our host, Brian from C4CC at the back here. Do you want to say a quick word about?
Welcome to the Centre for Creative Collaboration. We are a sort of strange project of a number of people, including universities, who support this place. So the University of London is our organisation. We also have Goldsmiths, Royal Holloway and the Central School of Speech and Drama as our partners. We host collaborative projects between universities and creative people, businesses, SMEs. Since we opened our doors in early 2010, we've had over 8,000 people through the space. Our 2-year target for number of people through the space was 200. And they told us there was no demand for this kind of operation. We have our own board, we're a kind of project university. We're a separate organisation. We have our own board, we make our own decisions, and we support projects like Makers Guild. So if you want to talk to me in the break, very happy to tell you more about what we do. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. This programme of events, and these are some of the things we're thinking about, so please let me know if there's particular topics you're excited by, would like to speak at, would just like to see happen. One of the ones I'm very keen to do is not 3D printing, because there's just so much hype about 3D printing, and it's lovely and fantastic, but it just sometimes seems that everybody thinks that making is 3D printing. Sorry, Paul. There's lots of ideas around that, and I'd really like to know what you would like Makers Guild to do for you as a members organisation. So tonight it's making and social change, looking at the social, political and economic ramifications of making. I think we've got a really exciting lineup of speakers, and we're going to start with Daniel from Fixperts.
Hello. So Fixperts is an idea, it's not an organisation or a project. I'm hesitant, it's not even a recipe, but it's the closest to. It started with a couple of people thinking about how to get fixing back into people's lives. My background is I'm a curator, before that an industrial designer. I did a project called Power of Making for the V&A, which had an amazing reaction. A lot of people came to see it. It was about 320,000 people over the 16 weeks, and it's makes you think what happened there, because the target was 100,000, which was worrying when I heard about it, because it's after all showing well-made pieces and talking about the skills is not necessarily something that was going to attract that kind of audience. So after that reaction, it took a few months to kind of process it and think about, did it happen because of some of the fact that it was in the entrance to the VMA, but other shows have been there, and there's something that caused a lot of debate and reaction. And how do you translate that enthusiasm into something applied? So one of the reactions is FixBricks. FixBricks is getting people that are good at making and thinking to do something for someone that needs something done quite quickly, document it, put it online as a little story. That's the idea. We did a pilot of about 5 little films in September to see if people are interested in it, and we had an overwhelming reaction, primarily from kind of blogs around the world telling the story, but also people starting to send in some films, and schools asking to run it in their curriculum. And our kind of idea was to see if we can get it into, the long-term vision was to get it into primary school. Can we get fixing as a subject instead of design and technology in secondary schools, to teach something that requires imagination and skill, like fixing. But because we're in the design world and we also need people to be able to run these projects, we started with BA and MA design schools with the idea that people that get to do this might be able to pass it on, run it. And so it's a kind of self-run project that we've helped along. And along the project, we've had people tap in and out to help us make it happen. It's completely voluntary. Also, the co-founder is James Carrigan, who is also co-founder of the company Subaru. Now, their interest is in fixing. They produce a material that is kind of a rubbery substance. Have people come across it, Subaru? So I don't need to explain it. It's kind of very, very interesting story of how they built the company through communities around. In a way, they fit into some of the subject today. FixBricks came out of an interest of James in getting fixing as part of people's perception as an option, and my interest in getting people making. Fixing is a type of making, and from Power of Making, the main thing that I wanted to be involved in further is to get making as a type of thinking, to get it acknowledged and to get it, to create platforms that enable people to tap into this. The other thinking behind FixBricks was to do something outside of one institute, to put a brief out, in a way, a kind of education brief, which is a project, but to put it online and see who picks it up, who's interested in, and who turns it into a different type of project for them. So Brunel University have just completed 102 students from industrial design and design engineering have completed a FixBricks project that was run by their tutors. We're just uploading the films, and they went to find problems with contacts with their families, through their communities, and lovely ideas of solving or trying to solve insomnia or sheep feeding or in-house gardens, floating gardens, all kinds of problems that they found out talking to people. So that's kind of it. It's not. Is this is this the
no, it won't work.
scroll? No. So if I want to scroll just down here.
Yeah, if you try 2 fingers, that should.
Okay. So that's the bit I explained. Basically, a self-running project. You need 3 people. You need someone who wants to make and think, someone who's willing to share their lives, insight into a problem, and someone to tell the story. The stories are, we ask them to be up to 3 minutes. So I'd like to show you maybe one of, how long have we got? 10 minutes?
Yeah, well,
3 minutes?
You've got another 7 or 8 minutes. That's
Okay.
it.
So I'll show a film, maybe a short film. I can't actually see the cursor here because it's not on the page. If you can, we can mirror it. What we've tried to do is to attract different types of groups. So through education, through corporate, as a kind of corporate responsibility scheme, and through, are you guessing? I guess that's correct. And through organizations, so a gallery called Stanley Pickard Gallery ran a residency where they invited students from Kingston to connect to people from the community around there. They did about 11 different projects. They showed it in the gallery, and some of them have kept in touch with.
Which is coming.
It is. Maybe it's a waste of time to wait for the movies. Just go back to the website.
Never rely on anybody else's tablet.
Never do a talk not on your computer. So. So right now what we've done is we've worked with about 7 different universities: Elisava in Barcelona, Warsaw Fine Art School, School of Fine Art, Sussex University, Bath are about to start, Kingston, Brunel. Each time it's a tutor that gets excited and decides to kind of find a way to run it in their environment. We've helped build the brief. I've got experience in teaching and learning to teach for about 20 years in design education. So I know that you have to completely suit it to, it can't be a brief that you bring in and run. It has to be built specifically for the type of involvement, type of skills, type of environment. So it's completely dependent on someone taking ownership in the place where it's happening. We try to help, but we're kind of a group of 4 or 5 volunteers, and in a way it has to happen independently. The fact that it is happening is great, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to support it. It started also happening with single people that are interested or excited enough, and they find a way of connecting to someone. We use Twitter to connect people by using search hashtags, and we use the Facebook sometimes to connect people. So through the search, Jim has been, who's a designer and programmer, has helped us think through how to make things the simplest. We're still working through it. We tried at some point to do kind of a forum where people can upload films. Turns out that was a bit too complicated, so now we've gone back to just send us, we'll upload. We use Vimeo, we use Pinterest, we use Tumblr, each one for very specific things in order not to run the website. So I think if I could show here, so for instance, when we upload on Pinterest, we grab from Pinterest into our website. We don't even upload into our website. That would work. Come on. Yeah. So we use Pinterest more for kind of breaking down the research. So how do you find a fixed partner, all the different fixed partners? What are the actual objects that people have made? And the different, each university starts to run their own Pinterest and tell the stories or company. So that this is Imagination, this is the Warsaw project. They did 4 films and added subtitles, and they run their, they start from our website with the film, but they do the Pinterest and from then on into their Tumblrs, and so you can kind of find out how they did it if you want, or you can just get the film. shade for a long time, so this is difficult. The reverse mirror. If I want to get...
Just click on the to get rid of that. You wanted to go back, or?
yeah. So, no. So, and if I want to go back to the site,
just click on the tab that you've got.
I'm not viewing it.
Yeah.
So one other thing that we've started doing about a month ago, I was taking experts to, we're talking about it in South Africa, in Johannesburg and in Cape Town. And of course there's a completely different relationship to fixing. And we've started this area which is called Fix Heroes, where people make films about people that have fixing as part of their lives or have been doing it, so organizations like Remap or Bright Sparks. And so it's a way of telling people about what the other people have done. So in a way it's kind of reverse, just using the films as fixes, not actually generating a fix. So I guess I'm now going to try and run a film and see if it's so what's worked for this project so far is kind of press has made it happen in a way. Every time some Spiegel picked up on it, wrote on it online, we had a whole group of German contacts suddenly create. We haven't actually planned how to get it around. It's kind of happened. There was an article in Brazil in an electronic, in a quite a trendy blog, and a number of people. And in a way, you only need one or two people to get excited enough to turn it from a story into start doing. And that's kind of what's happening now. We've been invited to a maker fair here in London. That's happening soon. We don't actually have a team to go and do the maker fair. So what we're about to do is see if there's any interest of someone to pick up and take the slot of the... so this is an invitation. If anyone's interested in being involved in maker fair, that's one of the things I thought to talk to you about, if that interests a group of makers to take that umbrella and do kind of a repair or a repair cafe type activity, or a different type of interpretation of the fixed spirit model. So we keep on getting kind of links and invitations for collaborations. Mumsnet contacted us to put the story online, and we contacted them, explained our motives. They put it in one of their conversation threads. It was very interesting to see the reactions, and about 36 different ideas of what could be done, and maybe Bath University might tap into that and connect with these people to do it. People in kind of schools have picked up on it, so we had a request for a kid that has very thick glass and he can't swim. He's got a 16 number and he can't put the goggles on, and so we put out a tweet and someone connected, the diver designer said, yeah, I'd love to try and solve this problem. So it's kind of growing in all these. This is one of the Warsaw stories about the small kitchen.
Nazywam się Marcia Przybyszewska i jestem kucharzem. Moja kuchnia jest mikroskopijna i jestem bardzo dużo przedmiotów. I
Maybe I'll do a short